Hey lovers, it's a new week of The Bachelor, so you know I had to come back with a recap. It's season 29, episode 2. We have 18 women remaining. Some of them don't got to go home, but they got to get the heck out of the mansion. So stick around to find out who was sent packing and who will be around for another week. Okay, so Jesse, the host, announced this week that there will be two group dates and one on one date. We already know, based on who received the first impression rose last week, that Alex will be getting the one on one. So now it's time to find out how these two group date went. The first group date card said time to shoot your shot. So obviously, in true Grant fashion, that's going to be a basketball type of date, and it absolutely was. The girls ended up meeting Grant at a basketball court, arena, field, wherever it is that they play basketball. And they play basketball with the kids. So he said he wanted to see how they interact with children. It's clear that he wants a family of his own one day. So shout out to him. When it was time to like do some drills, they were doing slam dunks, and Zoe decided to forfeit her time to show off her slam dunk ability, and instead she decided to grab Grant for a chat. Instead, she decided to grab Grant for a chat. Of course, that made the other women upset because they're all like, well, what's going on? We're all doing these drills and you're like taking our man. But she said, look, I got to stand out somehow. So she definitely pulled him away. They had a little talk on the rooftop. And when they came back, it was time for a 5-on-5 basketball showdown game. So it was interesting how they separated the teams though, because all the tall girls were on one team, the shorter girls were on another team, and it was just a mess. Okay, the girls was losing press on nails left and right, and the tall girls, which was the purple team, they ultimately ended up winning the challenge. They all got to spend time with him afterwards. Chloe won the MVP. And Chloe, at the after party, she was actually the first one that he decided to pull for a chat. So that was cool. While he was chatting with Chloe, all the other women decided to confront Zoe about taking time with him. She did stand 10 toes down and let them know the card says shoot your shot, and that's exactly what she did. Of course, they felt away, but we all know with The Bachelor, there are no rules. You really get in where you fit in to try to be memorable to him. There's so many other women. I'm not mad at her, and I feel like they should know by now this is the name of the game. Grant also took some time to speak with Natalie. He let her know that the kids really enjoyed spending time with her. They both talked about how they want kids in the future. She said she can see him, playing basketball with their kids, like in the backyard, future down the line, of course. And she asked, like, well, what if our daughter is tall and she doesn't want to play basketball? What if she wants to play volleyball? And he let her know he would support and help with anything that would make their kids happy. So, of course, that's a good sign. And he did say they have a connection and passion there. They ended up kissing. Go figure. I feel like Grant thinks he's signed up for a kissing booth. Like, of course, they ended up kissing. But again, he said there's connection and passion there. So we shall see. He also ended up speaking with Juliana. While he was speaking with her, or actually while he was kissing her, Zoe decided to walk in and grab him for a chat. Because, of course, Zoe is trying to be memorable to him. So, hey, the girls were upset to find this out again. And Zoe did end up letting him know that she's usually a guarded person unless she feels safe around the people she's with. He is like, I have no problem helping you with that. He said he was ready to kick down those walls or kick down the guard. He also said he wanted to know if they have an emotional connection, and that's basically where she opened up and let him know, like, why her guard is always up. And again, it's not until she feels safe with the person. So Grant said that they have chemistry, and of course, they ended up kissing as well. No shocker. Allie Joe decided, you know what, enough is enough. Let me step in and pull Grant from Zoe because she keeps taking him and taking her time, so let me step in and reclaim my time too. So Allie Joe, while she was talking to him, Zoe stayed nearby. Okay, y'all. Like Zoe said, okay, you can have it for a couple minutes, but I'm not done. So while Allie Joe was talking to him, she was talking about her childhood and how her dad used to coach her, and she was trying to kind of build a little bond with him. Here comes Zoe creeping back in like she does best, and she tried to grab him for another chat, and she succeeded. So there was that. When Zoe returned to the group, Allie Joe asked her what her issue was and asked her, like, are you insecure? Do you really need that much attention? Ultimately, I guess the Bachelor editing team decided Zoe's gotten enough attention for the night. So Grant came in, he gave his group date rose to Natalie, and that was the one who did good with the kids. So shout out to Natalie. All right, next up was the one-on-one with Alex, aka Carucci's twin. And I'm just saying, Grant, if you don't lock her up, Chris Brown might be right around the corner ready to scoop her, okay? We know how he feels about Carucci, or we assume how he feels about Carucci. Anyway, they had a one-on-one at the Beverly Center. Okay. Like, the Beverly Center is a mall for those who are not from LA. The Beverly Center is a well-known mall here. And he had like rose petals scattered on the floor there. Okay. It was after hours, so everything was closed, or before hours. Who knows what time this date took place. But yeah, he had roses scattered on the floor. They ended up riding these little kid pony thingies around the mall. I think they played dressed up, jumped on mattresses at the bed store. Like, okay, basically he was excited to see her inner kid come out because he has one too. I do think she's a front runner. She's going to make it for a long time. That's my thought from last week. And just seeing them on the date, they were able to kind of solidify that thought even more for me. He got on the piano. He decided to make up a song on the spot and was singing to her. Anyway, they have a very good connection, and great for them. Okay. She did ask him what makes him him. He said basically his relationship with his dad. As we discussed last week, his dad had some sort of drug or alcohol issue when he was growing up, so his dad wasn't as present as he needed to be. So he did say that he wants to be better than his dad, and that helped him kind of define the type of man he is now. She said she had an estranged relationship with her mom. She didn't really feel seen and heard by her. She also didn't see her dad for like 17 years. So she was raised by her grandparents. And she did also say that she kind of likes that Grant doesn't have the picture perfect family because they're able to connect and bond over that, type of similarity. She said because of the relationship she had with her mom, or lack thereof, that made her go to speech therapy, and also that'll allow her to help other kids who are having similar issues that she had when she was a kid. So I thought that was nice. Of course, they both talked about wanting to be parents one day, and I feel like that is the magic conversation to have with Grant. Like, and I feel like I was about to call her Carucci. I feel like Alex really did mean what she was saying. Like, just most people do want to be moms, and I guess guys want to be dads. I don't know. I'm not a guy, but it was good to see that they had that in common as well. She did say Grant makes her feel like he hears her and sees her. Ultimately, he ended up giving her another rose, so Alex will be around for another week. Last was another group date, And they pulled up to a theater. It said, "Let me love you," like on the little marquee thing outside. And who other than Mario, the singer, was in there singing "Let Me Love You," which was cute. Hey Mario. Not like that, but just for old time nostalgia purposes. Hey. Their task for this group date was to write and perform a song, which I don't even know if they ended up even sing. Oh, I guess they sang like a verse or like a line from their song, but whatever. Robin Anton, the creator of the Pussycat Dolls, she came out and helped choreograph their dance, which, shout out to them for, they get an A for effort. But is it A for effort or E for effort? Anyway, they get that. Grant, to help them kind of warm up, he did end up singing and performing for the ladies first. Like, okay, Grant, if you are on The Bachelor to get a record deal, just say that. Like, but I guess he just wanted to do whatever he could to make them feel comfortable. Throughout all the girls, Carolina, she was the one who won the challenge at the group date. Maybe because she kissed him during her performance, and then after she won, she ended up straddling him and kissing him again. And the girls definitely felt away, like, awkward, I guess would be the word. You could tell all the girls felt awkward with Carolina straddling and making out with him for like ever. So at the after party, the vibe was definitely a little weird. Grant decided to pull Rebecca and ask her what was going on. She let him know, like, of course, we feel a little bummed. But she seemed to understand that only one girl could have been the winner. So there was that. Carolina, though, the one who won the date, she kind of started to feel awkward her own self, like started questioning, wondering if he regretted choosing her. But girl, like, this is just how it goes. He had to choose someone, so don't question you being the winner for that one little, date. Lytia, she was the girl who bought the rhinestone basketball last week. She ended up talking to him during their little chat, letting him know that she was triggered last week when he asked her about being single. Like, surely nobody tells her no. And she was letting him know, like, that's actually a part of why her last relationship ended. I guess her previous relationship didn't want to get married, and it ended up being a no, and it didn't work out for her. So she didn't want him to think just because she's pretty, guys don't tell her no. And he did apologize, let her know like he came off wrong and he didn't mean it that way. Lytia also let him know she wants marriage and children. Again, those are the magic words for Grant, okay? They ended up kissing, no surprise there. And then he also spoke with Carolina. She let him know she didn't want to dampen the vibe. He let her know she didn't do anything wrong. And she asked him, well, do you think you did anything wrong? And he's like, no. And then in true Grant fashion, he's like, now give me a kiss. I need some lipstick on me. Like, come on now, Grant. Like, he's getting cheesier and cheesier as the episodes go by. Lytia ultimately ended up getting the group date rose for the second group date. Next up is cocktail hour. Grant let the ladies know he knows exactly what it takes for him to fall in love, which is emotional availability. Ella wrote him a letter because she hadn't really gotten much time with him, and he said he did feel comfort from her letter. And then Bailey, she let him know that she's been struggling. It's hard for her to be emotionally available. She cried a little bit, and he told her he didn't want to see her cry. So we'll see. I still don't know how I feel about Bailey. I feel like she was a little more calm this week. Not that you can't be hyped, but I just feel like she was doing too much with the selfies. So maybe now that her camera is gone, I can connect with her a little bit more. The first person to get the rose at the rose ceremony was Juliana. The last person to get the rose at the rose ceremony was Chloe. And there ended up being 4 women who went home. And that was Alicia, which was one of the first people he kissed last week. Ella, which she's the one who wrote the letter. Rebecca, she's the one he pulled and asked what was going on. at the, with the awkward vibes, and then Vicky, which he also kissed last week. So 4 girls went home. We now have to wait a week to see what happens on next week's episode. But so far, Alex is my front runner in this moment. Or at least she's going to be in the top 2. So we'll see. And that is my recap on episode 2 of this week's episode of The Bachelor. Who's your front runner this week? Who do you think about going home? Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next one.